Yes, there we are. There is our burning world. The year is 1675. And the last session from 1633 to 1675, it flipped the script. If we actually, you know what, we don't have time for these slow pans around the world. Let's get our user interface back. Let's zoom right in to where the action is. And if I consult my notes and I pop on a bit of background music. And I turn the background music up a little tad more. Perfect. Bueno. So where were we? Quite a few wars going on. This is the big one. Well, I say the big one. The Savage Men are going to roll over Caboose. The only question is how much they think they can take. Because the Savage Men have the ideas. They could take all of Turkey. They could take all of Anatolia. But whether they will, up for grabs. Malta are going for it. They're going ham on Denial Valley. Are they actually? Yeah, they've managed to get into Denial Valley proper, going through Gezira. We have wars in the east. The kinda, I'd hesitate to call it resurgence, but Australia Minor have taken over Australia, taken over some of the lands, and then are at war with Samud Ali Katha at the behest of Damak. Who else? Oh yeah, Grunhammer are dead, but we knew that already. Grunhammer getting beaten up by Switzerland by themselves. Switzerland with no allies, having not called in London. Switzerland just going to town on Grunhammer. To be fair, Grunhammer was fighting all of that. To be fair. No, it was fighting all of that. To be fair. Anything else? Bengalistan are going in on the MPO once again, trying to just continue to burrow their way east, away from Tequila. And I suppose there's something going on in China, but I don't care to see it. So we've only got 2 hours this week. And we'll see how that goes. Let's start rolling. What have I got to look out for? Gezira Truce of Denial. There's Georgian separatists over here. Georgia are also at war while we're here. But it's not a war aimed at Georgia, so Georgia might not lose too much. But in any case, Georgian separatists, Trebizondian separatists will ignore them. But this is where the... Oh, there we go. A big fight already. And Caboose sent packing. That'll probably be the biggest fight of the war. I'm not hearing much sound from the game. That is Schwarzwald. A lot of exile troops from Schwarzwald. Oh yeah, Pyrenees. Pyrenees are going to die as well. Justina de Silva, the regent for Guillaume de Gob. Not doing very well. Let's have a quick check on Pyrenees over here. Zoom right in. Loads of rebels. Ah, yes. Colonial revolt, says Rev in the chat. I'm on the lookout particularly for Neroland and Lurtzland colonies revolting. Because Lurtzland being reduced to a shell of its former self. As with Neroland. Although Neroland, at peace. At peace. What did they lose? We don't know. California still in one piece. Oh no, Pyrenees, everything's pieced out. Provence, oh dear. After years of lusting for this province, Eric Lux have finally lost it to their ally. To be fair, that's quite a nice border. Pyrenees reduced again to another 2 provinces. And New Pyrenees looking to revolt. New Pyrenees bigger than Old Pyrenees. Anyway, where were we? We were down here. Schwarzwald still messing around Constantinople. What is that occupation? Arkansas separatists. Panic over. I thought Arkansas were getting invaded again. Load of rebels down Tolk's way. They can't really deal with that many particularists at once. Oh no, they can. They've got another army. So they should be dealing with those particularists. New Pacific Order, I noticed, beset by rebels. Pretenders, Luang Prabangian separatists. They don't matter so much. That's not going to be too bad. Yunlin is now out of war. And in a whole heap of trouble. Oh no, they are already back at war with Sonia Sedai. Let's cut away before it gets too graphic, too hot the TV. And did Switzerland declare peace? It looks like they did. And that is what they took. They took their 3 bordering provinces there. That is a Swiss port. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill. Switzerland have a border to the sea. The Eric Lux need to get on this. They need to just demolish Switzerland because look, they're only allied with London. Bring in Epiphany, go to town on Switzerland. Easy. Brunhammer looking decidedly worse for wear, and their only ally is a tiny island over here. Neroland completely gone. And in fact, Lisboa in the hands of Epiphany now. That's going to give them quite a share. Quite a share of the Sevilla node, passing it on to Genoa. And they're going to have a bigger share of Genoa as well, because of Provence. They have the biggest share of the biggest trade node now, Epiphany. Epiphany are running away with this. So, as always, I really thought I saw yellow capturing yellow there. I don't know why. So that is Denmark, who are now exiled, which means, well, there's not really much point in looking at what cores Australia Mine are missing, because it's all of them. But Denmark seem to have taken... Is it only Palopo? No, surely not. Did they take Saram before? Either way, Australia Mine are still just about intact. More intact than they have been for quite some time. It's another 2-pronged defensive from Geoia and Yunlin. Yunlin with no allies whatsoever. Oh no! Oh my goodness! It's not even a war against Yunlin. It's a war against Jirem. It's a war against these guys here. And Yunlin have just toppled into the conflict once more. What is the point? What is the point? We're not coming back over here. We are coming back over here. But if I had a choice about it, we wouldn't be coming back over here. So here we go. Already. Oh, there we are. There we have it. The Savage Men have already declared peace. That's a year in, and they have taken a huge chunk, including the former capital Sinop. Where is the Caboose capital now? I can't say I support that. Still right in easy reach of the Savage Men, with no forts in the way. What the Savage Men have quite cleverly done, they've taken all these forts. There's nothing stopping invaders next time round. Georgia now. Provinces are reverting to Georgia. And Caboose can't stop them just yet. They can maybe take back Van, which that army is trying desperately to do. But these provinces, they should be safely Georgian. I say safely Georgian. They now share a border of the Savage Men, so nothing is safely Georgian right now. Indeed, they're still at war with Kazil Bronco. Nothing is ever safely Georgian. Anyway, if you're watching this, as always, if there's something you want me to have a quick check of or have a look at, just shout out. Will Free Scotland go into town on the remains of Guatemala? See, the Savage Men in Georgia don't quite share the same colour, but it's close enough to be quite annoying, I agree. There is Geoia. Oh no, Geoia and Samudra are slightly different as well. There's Ordos and Zil Bronco. What I'm going to do is I'm going to install a mod for... Oh no, we've accidentally looked at China, get away. I'm going to install a few graphical mods for the next campaign. Neroland is defending against Nerolandian La Plata. So we do have an independence war here. As Argentina going to war against Nerolandian Brazil, Neroland. And they've got California on their side, actually. So it's not Neroland's California. California have also declared their independence. What is Let's in Colombia doing over there? Who actually knows at this point? So Brazil, Louisiana, and Neroland proper are sticking with it. But so Lurtzland have gone to war with Neroland in support of La Platan independence. Like I said, we're going to be looking... Oh, here's the thing. Lurtzland La Plata, actually. Lurtzland La Plata already done. Already gone, I'm fairly sure. Because there used to be a tiny Lurtzland colony over there. It's done. I'm not sure there's really much left to colonize over here. And if you did come over here, Samuda, I think, would have something to say about it. With their thousands and thousands of men. Is this war... Oh no, it's Urem doing the occupying. Oh no, this war is still ongoing. We just really can't tell what is even happening in this war. Does the New Pacific Order have an army anymore? Because I do notice that is 40k pretender rebels. Which is not good news for Bengalistan, because those pretender rebels, once they take over the government, they will become the New Pacific Order's army. So that's a ticking time bomb for Bengalistan to finish this war in time. Gioia rebuilding an army because their army is trash and presumably was defeated by a Yunnan stack over here. As always, Yunnan have the beating of... Well, they probably don't anymore, but they had the beating of these guys one-on-one. Something to watch out for the Savage Men is that they can absolutely demolish pretty much any nation one-on-one by now. Epiphany might beat them, but the Savage Men have avenues of expansion everywhere. They have religious ideas, and all these guys are a different religion, so they can use the crusading Casus Belli. The only problem for the Savage Men is making sure they don't get killed by revolts. And they don't collapse. Like, you know, Caboose did. Like Tequila nearly did. Gezira have gone to war with Denial Valley, and it's not looking great. I'll be honest. Denial Valley have looked a whole lot worse, but they've also looked better. Does that mean to say that Malta have declared peace? And they didn't take all that much. They took 2 provinces, but it was enough for Gezira to just go, you know what? We'll take the rest. Thank you very much. We're Egypt now. Disgraceful behaviour. I really want to see Patria coming through strong. Oh, Wakadu is an enemy. Interesting. Interesting that Wakadu are considered that strong. They've got higher tech than military tech than Patria have, so of course they are. We're also looking at Epiphany, seeing what Epiphany is doing next. They're rivals of the Norse bloc. Fair dues, fair dues. Not the PRD, I notice. Not the PRD at all. In fact, the PRD don't really have many Catholic rivals at all. The PRD could switch sides here. Probably, technically. Let's get rid of these outliners. They don't need to be there. So all is quiet as Georgia continues to grow from rebellions. Georgia could now save Trebizond, and they are. Because that was taken over some time ago by Trebizondian separatists. But there was no land bridge there. So Georgia... Did Georgia have... How much development did Georgia actually have? Because if Georgia end up beating Caboose, that would be a turn up for the books. No further Legendian movement in South Africa. And we have the first... I was genuinely about to go, oh, what are Tequila doing in New Zealand? It's literally Lurtzland. It's Lurtzland in Tasmania. It's Lurtzland in the North Island of New Zealand. What are they doing there? We don't know. But I think they are the exact same colour, Tequila and Lurtzland. So that's not what I like to see. Of all the clashes, look, to be fair, I think making Tequila and Lurtzland the same colour was alright. I didn't really expect those guys to collide at any point. But lo and behold, I did think Tequila and Denial might collide. They have Hawaii. That's probably how it's happened. They do. So if we look at the diplomatic view for Luxembourg, we can see they're still at war with Nederland, but you can kind of see how they've island hopped across the Pacific. So Georgia really consolidating down. Wow. Take a look at this one. Malta are going in on Caboose alone. Are they I mean, that's ambitious. You can't say that's not ambitious. Meanwhile, Gezira and the Geziran separatists still running wild, which is the terrible thing. Really consolidating their hold over Denal Valley. Denal Valley are pretty much gone. But Malta with their 33k army. Caboose outnumber them. Malta, do they have any allies to bring in? I mean, if they brought in Legendia or Patria, they would win this war. Straight up. But they are just going it alone. If Malta... Imagine if Malta win this war, right? And then just go like 3 sessions ago. You know who's next to beat Caboose is going to be Malta. And it's just... Everyone's going to think it's an utter piss take, but no. Not at all. Nederland's still hanging on, actually. They still have a 1 province in Murcia. Is that? Murcia, yeah. Look at those strong Lux armies. A 3-star general there. Masses of artillery. That's what I like to see. So this is kind of the ongoing conflict then. It's what happens when these two armies collide. Malta, not really looking too desperate to force a confrontation. But what's the war goal here? It's Tirana. The war goal is Tirana. So Malta just need to hold this province to win out. Here's the thing as well. If Malta take this province, and maybe if they come back and take that, this will all be coloured in Maltese. A lot of troops. But it is the Scottish conquest of Colombia is what's happening down here. The Colombia, massive nation, but you can see Scottish Mexico there. It's not a good time. Not a fun time for Colombia. Did they have any allies? I think Patria, I'm not sure Patria were actually allied with them. I think Patria might have been at war with them at some point. Oh, that's Patria in Brazil. Thank goodness. I looked at that, saw no allies and panicked. But so long as Patria still have Eric Lux as an ally. They're not doing amazingly well on the diplomatic front, but they're doing alright. Caboose have somehow managed to save Kartli. I don't know how. Well, because they got access through Georgia somehow. Georgia who... Oh, no. So Tequila are going in on their old ally Sin Cigar. With no hesitation, just kill off your former friend. One of the ones that stood by you from the start. Are you looking, Samuda? This is what's going to happen to you. Tequila just rolling through the north, and that is brought in Georgia. I was going to say Tequila to their credit going alone, but it's not to their credit at all. What's going on over here? Yep, Yunlin are dead. There's not much remaining over here for us to go for, because look at that huge border with their allies. And if we go in and see what they actually want to take, again, nothing. Whereas the Savage Men, this is a map I like to see. This is ambition, and this is why I think the Savage Men can get in and about, you know, the score leader. Because they want Grunhammer, they want Legendia, they want everything, and they can take everything. Osterstrand, will they go to war with the PRD and the Savage Men? No. Is going to war with Perm going to change anything? No. They're going to take maybe the last bits of Midvedstrana, and if they're lucky, they'll beat the PRD to Lurchland. But I think the PRD will want that. As you can see, the PRD specifically wants Shaeland, and Shaeland is the province. Shaeland is the operative province everyone wants to dominate Lubeck. Because Lubeck, great trade node. And more to the point, I'll quickly pause this just to make a quick point. If we look at incomes, if we look at the max income in the world, it's going to be Osterstrand unless anything's massively changed. Osterstrand demolishing it. They've got so much income, and that's all from production and trade. They've got the highest production in the world by so far. I'm just want to quickly make this point. I don't want to pause for too long. Let's have a look at production. Crushing it. Even Tequila with far more, well, not far more, but with more development. Tequila being crushed. And that's double third place. Osterstrand are doing amazingly well economically. They're making the best use of what land they have. But that production is in leaky trade nodes, as it were. They've got control of Novgorod, but the White Sea leaks out to the North Sea. Novgorod will leak somewhat to the Baltic Sea, and the Baltic Sea leaks to Lubeck. So whoever controls Lubeck, especially if it's the PRD, they'll be taking money directly from Osterstrand. And that's kind of the interesting point I wanted to make there. Let's continue. So Georgia back on the map. Bengalistan. Well, Bengalistan will be pleased to see Tequila go after Sinsagar. Is this peace? It is. And so, yes, I think they did only take that one province for Jirem. So that's a result. Pardon me. That is a result for Yunnan that they haven't actually lost anything from that war. And they've they sort of have a chance to get some allies. Will they take it? Of course they won't. Let's look away. How are Amaranth losing to Noble? No, they're still losing to Particulars, so it's fine. The Gezeran Separatists, even now, just demolishing Denal Valley. Although, to be fair, here we go. We could see a massive civil war, tug of war. Denal Separatists sieging down Cairo. I hope what goes around comes around and Denal Valley get Cairo back. Because this is the exact situation. If Denal Valley had Cairo, boom, they take out Caboose. Malta have been pushed back, as it stands. But there's their army, there's the province they need. They're winning the war. Georgia are bigger on the northern border. I'm fairly sure that some of this was equestrian land to start with. Indeed, you can see that Georgia don't even have a core on it yet. Oh no, that's because I wasn't looking at Georgian land. I'm an idiot. But I think Georgia had a little bit more, maybe? What did Tequila want from this? They want it all. Fair enough. Oh, gonna mute the microphone for a bit. Give me a sec. I tell you what. Doing this after speaking all day, just chatting to people, but I don't really talk that much in general. I've not planned out my day very well. How have Malta gotten down here? More to the point, when are Tolk Maria coming back in? Kelamani on maneuvers down here. Saklava and Tanga. Patria, Epiphany. Epiphany still at war with Colombia, but that's Free Scotland's war, and Free Scotland are winning handily. The Free Scotland are actually a great power, despite only being a tiny state. Relatively. This is only about 200 development. Vikingar did actually take out half of Iceland. I don't know why people take half of Iceland. Just take the whole of Iceland. It's only 4 development. It's not going to cost you anything. Did Medvedstrana have any protection? No, not really. Just Parm, and that's not going to help too much. Burnhammer still nothing. Switzerland desperately trying to suck up to the Savage Men, as you would. As you can see, everyone is. Epiphany Canada, Cleves, Parm, all corners. Does that mean Epiphany Calendar? I keep saying Canada. Canada is wanting to revolt from Epiphany. New Pyrenees. They have attacked New. If Pyrenees somehow managed to survive as a colonial empire, that'd be most impressive. There's Letzi in West Alaska as well. Australian pretender rebels. Look at this. Look at this one island alone. Amaranth, Samuda, Australia, Denmark. Over there you've got Tequila. Down here, Lapsland. Not looking great, honestly. Let's hope Tequila can sort out their borders a bit. How is their absolutism? Is there any way for me to check that without going into them? I don't think so. Kabusi particulars, not separatists. That's a shame. So unfortunately for Malta, Denial separatists are now trying to take back their war goal of Tirana. This is kind of where the action's happening. It's just separatists going up and down and up and down. And nobody has the armies to beat them down. So a lot of this is wasteland. So I think that's nearly 100% occupation. That's wasteland as well. Hopefully Tequila take this chunk so that wasteland gets filled in. So this bit looks a bit better. And they'll get their name back over here. Who's allied with Baroda? Is it... If it's just Samuda, I hope Samuda do the decent thing and roll over and let Tequila take Baroda. Because that would make the name look so much better, and it's not like Samuda haven't been rolling over Tequila all game. The Vikingar, looking like a pretty respectable Norway, actually. When it comes down to it, they've survived. They might outlast Lapsland at that. Well, that's some successful diplomacy you've got there. How Lapsland have managed to ally with the Savage Men, I do not know. But that's an amazing power play from the Savage Men. That stops their allies taking the last of Lapsland. That stops their allies really expanding into the one place the Savage Men can. That's an amazing power play. That's fantastic. Top marks. The Savage Men are doing everything right. They're going in on... No, they're doing everything wrong. It's all wrong. I take it all back. You've ruined it. You've ruined it. Genuinely, I saw that logo and got excited that they were going for like the last of Pyrenees. But no, it's worse than that. It's far worse. Incidentally, if you've not played EU4 before, Caboose are at war. Oh yeah, still defending against Malta, because of course they are. If you haven't played EU4 before, once you get to diplomatic level 23 in tech, as you can see, the Savage Men are nearly there. It enables 2 new casus belli. One is nationalism, which means that if anyone holds land that is your culture, you can declare war for it and get it for really cheap. The other one is imperialism, where you can declare war on anyone in the world for any reason. So, wars like, For example, the Savage Men, with their religious casus belli, can only declare war on heathen and heretic neighbours, which serves them really well. But for example, there's nothing really stopping Ulsterstones once they have level 23. There's nothing stopping them declaring an imperialist war against, for example, Free Scotland. Because Free Scotland is within their coring range. It doesn't matter that they're not a neighbour anymore. They could just take that all over to dominate the North Sea node, which feeds out of the White Sea. This is the kind of conflicts we could be seeing. I really panicked there. I thought Epiphany were going for Patria, but they're just going for Neroland. It's fine. They're actually going for Cahokia, who I imagine are a Neroland tributary. No, this is a guarantee by Neroland. Why? And interestingly, see here, Cahokia. Actually, we'll go across and see, because they might be decently sized. Who knows? I mean, probably not. Which one's Cahokia? I imagine it's the one occupied by the Savage Men, actually. They're decently sized. Picked by the Neroland. But this is the interesting thing. London and Lutzeland both paying subsidies to try and keep that war going, to try and keep Epiphany occupied. Try and keep that 60, 70, however many troops they got over. Hello, what is this? Okay, so it's a bit of... So Free Scotland are in this war as well, then. Oh, goodness, that's quite the American Civil War going on. It's worth bearing in mind, of course, that this is Neroland's capital right here, being sieged down. So they lose that... They lose this, they are out. They can't just run away to a colony anymore. They've already run away to a colony. Lose that and they're done. They're eliminated. I should put Neroland on the Death Watch list. So what's taking Tequila so long? Are they occupying Georgia? No, they've only just gotten to Georgia. Although, to be fair, if we look at Georgia's ideas, they have full defensive ideas. And they have, I can't mouse over it obviously, but they have massive attrition for enemies, massive fort defense. This is not a siege that Tequila wants to be taking. They'll be suffering for this. And that's what I like to see. In fact, if Georgia somehow closed the door behind this army, they can beat down that army. Let's have a quick look out at this, because that is a... It is a mountain fort. So if Georgia can siege this back... And how many... Yeah, and they will. They've got it. That army's trapped. They're trying to desperately send in 35k, but that's a mountain fort. They should be trying to fight this. Oh no, they're sending them round. They're sending through Arkansas because Arkansas is a pussy who lets them have access. Oh, terrible. I was looking forward to some great guerrilla warfare, some lovely scorched earth, and Arkansas, they figure they've lost the game. Ah, screw it, we'll just let Tequila through. Pathetic. You keep fighting fruitlessly like Yunlin. If Lutzeland do get... Well, Lutzeland aren't getting beaten down, I think that's the point, actually, that they're allied with the Savage Men. But if Lutzeland did get beaten down, there is actually some very nice development around here. Like New Zealand, I think, on average, has some of the highest development of any colonial region. That's a spurious fact that I've come up with off the top of my head. I think it's true, but I've got no idea if it is. Oh, hello, Schwarzwald, allied with Everett Lux. Interesting. Interesting. But that could only serve... Hopefully that kills off Switzerland. Hopefully that is the alliance to end the Swiss. Because if Nordischreich come gunning down Schwarzwald, these alliances aren't enough and Eric Lux will suffer. I don't want to see Eric Lux suffer. So it is peace and Caboose maintain control of Tirana. Unfortunate. What's even more unfortunate? Oh god, I said the Savage Men are going for it. So they've taken over Infinite Citadel and they are going to crush Georgia. Tequila have declared peace. At least their name is in a better position now. But this is ugly. This is terrible. Take over Baroda. But like I said about Tequila, this is not really a war you want to fight. You don't want to fight in the Caucasus Mountains. Against Bashkiria as well. I mean, okay. Are they fighting with anyone? They've got Osterstrond in the same war. Interesting. I hope they have the good sense to let Osterstrond kill themselves on the Georgian mountains. It's interesting. What are they most likely to take? They are going for uniting their empire surrounding the Black Sea. Going for a Mare Nostrum. Classic. London are fully paying their troops. Are they about to go in on someone? Who knows? Oh, interesting that the armies are down here for Patria. All the armies are down here for Patria. So, potentially Burkina Faso. Potentially any one of these guys. Could be next up on the chopping block. Hello! Tokmaria going absolutely all out. Taking on Mombasa, Tanga and Kelimani all at once. Legendia! Hello! Legendia going in from the bottom. This is some collusion going on here. It's brilliant because one of these nations might not necessarily be able to take on... The AI wouldn't be able to comfortably take on that entire block at once. But I wonder who declared first. There's the navies going down. Tokmaria going all out, smashing them up. And then Legendia, also, they're going to get the rest of that gold. It's a win-win situation for them both. I mean, it'd be even more of a win-win situation. Oh no, they do have a fort. They've actually built a fort. They've built a fort in a useless position. See, if they built the fort one province back, they'd stop all these occupations going past them. It'd be a jungle fort as well. It'd be perfect, but no. So the Savage Men rolling on through. They need to be really careful that all these wars in quick succession. Even the Cyprus War, even the Infinite Citadel War, are Highlands level 4 forts against guys with defensive ideas. It's going to drain your manpower. Who's going to take advantage of that? I don't know, because look at that ridiculous list of alliances. But if Epiphany brought every gun to bear, it'd be interesting. Oh, I really panicked there for a second, because that absolutely looks like PRD rolling on through. But up, Georgia have just somehow gotten an occupation up there, but I panicked. I was overjoyed for a second there. So what are Tokmaria likely to get from this war? Because they're at war with Mombasa, whereas Legendia are at war with Kelimani. So they are going for the coast, which is good to see, because if you look at the trade node over here, the Zanzibar trade node is just that coast. They take all of that, they get a lot of trade, and it's beautiful. So they are both going for exactly what they want, Legendia and Tokmaria. In that, gold down here, trade up here, perfect. If they eliminate Mombasa as a threat as well, they can just walk over the rest of that with impunity in the next war. Kumis. What? Right. Arkansas are defending against Kashan, and they have attacked Georgia. Georgia have got even Medvedstrana. Medvedstrana are going for Bashkiria. Like, it's so impressive that Medvedstrana are somehow still alive. They've only got Vladimir that they started with, but they're still migrating east. Malta did not beat Caboose. It was a white piece. Tirana still Caboose. I think Malta just took one look at all these rebels down here and thought, you know what, sod this, let's wipe peace out, I'm out of here. But Georgia, a massive battleground now. Someone's pieced out. And it was the Savage Men who just took that border. And that is one hell of an ugly border they've got now. But I like this from the Savage Men. They're just taking what they need to. Oh, there's the Georgian armies demolishing an Arkansas army. In what is unfortunately now Savage Men territory. It'll be interesting to see who wins this actually out of Georgia and Arkansas. Because Kumis have jumped on this. They're taking out these guys. Pirates in the Ned. It's not really... Pirates, I'm not sure... I'm not really familiar with how pirates work. You just send some of your trade ships to privateer a node. So there'll be constantly pirates going around the major trade nodes. As far as I'm aware. What is this? So Schwarzwald have got in against Pfalz. And that's just taking them to war against miners. Good to see. Schwarzwald might finally clean up the Holy Roman Empire yet. They bring in any allies? No, just for Schwarzwald. Because Schwarzwald are real men's men. They fight their own battles. So this might really backfire in Arkansas, and Arkansas will be in deep trouble. Because you've got Kumis and Kashan from here. You'll have Georgia. Did Georgia have any cores left on Arkansas? No, not really. This is the extent of their territorial ambition. So what would they actually take? They don't really want much. But I'm sure they'd take whatever they could get. The Bengalistan at peace? Oh, interesting. So now we're seeing some moves. Some power plays. Bengalistan guaranteed by Samud Ali Khatha. Stopping Tequilan expansion. I'm liking these power plays. Even split in half. Even split in half. Equestria. Still occupied by rebels. Epiphany still adventuring in North America. Osterstrand. I think they'll be wanting to crush Medvedstrana as soon as. But still, they have no real interest in expanding, and I don't know why. Are they getting... What ideas are they getting? Quantity. Good. That's what they were lacking. With quantity, Osterstrode will have one of the largest armies, obviously. They don't really have impressive ideas to go with it, though, I'm fairly sure. It's diplomatic tolerance and innovative ideas they've got in the national ideas, if I remember correctly. And they've only really got offensive from the idea groups. How's it looking down here? Let's see, in Colombia, with a U and not an O. Who is it that declared independence? I think... No, it was Neerlandian La Plata, which remains a colony. The Neerland, despite Lartsland, you know, rolling around for whatever reason, Neerland won that war and maintained control of their colonies. Well, if this is what winning looks like to you. Nah, this isn't really winning. Imagine losing to Scottish Mexico, for goodness sake. So all quietening down now. Sinsagar looking very much diminished. This is what annoys me about Kazil Bronco, right? They have a laundry list of allies. Some of them are decent, like Kumis. Some of them aren't. But they never... they should be taking that land. They should be taking Sinsagar for themselves, not helping Hotan do it. Gansu, actually. Gansu is an interesting one, because Gansu are quite strong. Gansu allied with Son Yesuda and Fujian as well. This is a one-on-one war between Yunlin and Ninja Karasu. It's a war that Ninja Karasu declared. They've not brought in Gioia, but the truce Yunlin had with Gioia is now up, so they technically could. So, could this potentially be Yunlin's way back? I hope not. I hope they just die so we don't have to keep looking over here. But if Yunlin were to take Ninja Karasu, then that would kinda give them a base to fight from again, I suppose. Georgia have fought back against Arkansas and are winning. How are the United States of Free Scotland actually looking? They certainly want to be free. Pátria in Brazil. Independence supported by Legendia, which would be an awkward war for Legendia. Or would it? That could be the perfect war for Legendia, actually. No, it wouldn't. It would be if they got someone else to support their independence. If Legendia were allowed to bring their own allies, sure. But they're not. So it wouldn't be perfect to tell. The Egyptian civil war continues on at pace. Oh god. Darfuri separatists are in there now. There's token particularists. At least someone's dealing with their rebel problems. Pátria still not going to war down here. They really should. They need to get a move on. Look at their armies down here. They would demolish any one of these countries. The Tolk Maria. The Tolk Maria. I've evened out these borders. It's nice to see. They should have taken Mombasa itself, but that'll be high development, I guess. Relatively. 35 development. No wonder they didn't get to take it. But that'll be the prime target next time. That leaves... Did Legendia actually take stuff? Did they take all the wrong provinces? Legendia took that. The gold was there. What are they doing? Those are some really good provinces, to be fair. Far higher development than I thought they'd be. And it is ivory, which is still very good. It's not as good as gold. Maybe they'll come back for round 3. Thin Cigar. Somehow winning this war. What are the Broncos even doing? They've got an army there. This is the problem with such far-flung empires. Especially when driven by the AI. Ah, Yunlin now losing against Ninja Karasu. Oh no. Oh no. Samuda are going for Manado. Which one's that? I'm unsure. Oh, they're cleaning up this island, which, to be fair, I can kind of accept. But is that the extent of their territorial ambition? Nah, it's not. Big battle going on there that Samuda, of course, will win. Oh, Tequila are at war in this one as well, so it's an absolute no-brainer to win it here. Bengalistan are escaping again. Buoyed on by being protected by Samuda. So Samuda finally making some plays of their own. They really need to keep that alliance with Tequila, because Demak and Baroda are not going to be enough to stop Tequila when they come for them. armies moving around because another crusade, like I said, against Kazimov. Just cleaning up the steps. This could be the end of Equestria, of course. Who have they brought in this time, actually? Osterstrand in the PRD. A little bit of overkill there. But if it stops Osterstrand's manpower going up, again, a brilliant power play. Lutzland allied with London now. Impressive. They're going for Epiphany as well. That would be amazing if Lutzland somehow became, you know, the center of the wheel between all the major blocks. So Georgia continuing to fight off Arkansas. And Yunlin now going time. Going time? What did I just say? Going down. Oh dear. They're desperately trying to improve Tequila's opinion of them. Literally like hundreds of years too late. Like we're talking about multiple hundreds of years too late. No, don't kill the Georgian separatists. I very dare you. At least it's Osterstrand's manpower. Hilo with a big laundry list of allies. Uganda, Georgia, Yazd, Sakalava, Kurlan. All too little and too late. How's the Empire of China doing? Not particularly well. How's Egypt doing? It's seen better days. Malta's army is now down right beside here. Right, they've got in again on Caboose, so I don't know what their army's doing down there. Right, this time Masira are in with Caboose and Malta are still on their own. Again, all they need to do is bring one of their allies with them and they'll win. The Savage Men. What? Far from eliminating Equestria, the Savage Men have gone out of their way to protect Equestria. And I don't know if I can support that. I don't know about this. I don't think I can support this. No, that makes sense actually. That makes sense because the Savage Men taking so much land. Has it finished coring? It has all finished coring, so I don't know why they wouldn't still take it. But this will make sure that any rebellions... Well, I mean, it's Equestria, of course there'll be rebellions. What government do they have? They do have an administrative monarchy now. So there might not be as many rebellions. Schwarzwald. Still rolling right through the Holy Roman Empire. Again. They've punched their way back out into the English Channel, into the North Sea. So I imagine the war goal for Malta is going to be Tirana again. There we go. So as soon as that flips to Maltese control, that war score will become positive. Finally, Nederland forced out. Let's actually... Oh, no, they're still there. They're still just about there. They've got truces with absolutely everyone in the world. They've still got loads of tributaries, somehow. But their colonies... The colonies don't actually want to revolt. As opposed to Epiphanies. Let's have a double check on them. Epiphany's colonies are closer to revolting than Nederland's are. And it's a miracle that Free Scotland's haven't already. So finally, Oosterstrand are going to... Well, Oosterstrand have gone towards Medvedstrana, but at the behest of the Savage Men. And I'm not sure Oosterstrand is going to get anything out of Medvedstrana. Because if you look at what they wanted at the start of the war, it's nothing. They're just sitting back. Oh! Could they be rebuilding Equestria? I mean, at the most very technical of levels, I guess they could be. I mean, Equestria have some decent ideas. In all honesty, Equestria would be an amazing march. An amazing vassal to have. Because of these ideas, they've got quality ideas. Innovative ideas? Espionage ideas is actually really good for your vassal to have. Arkansas still plugging away. Georgia have declared peace. I keep clicking the wrong button. They didn't take anything, I think, there. And oh dear, Arkansas being cut in twain. And Kashan. Not quite taking the trade provinces. But that, if we look at Arkansas now, it is all marsh, farmlands, grasslands, drylands. They've lost all of their mountains, all of their highlands. It's all but over for Arkansas. Malta, meanwhile, into the centre of Caboose. Why aren't their armies there? What are the Caboose armies doing down here? They're not in another war. The Malta are just driving straight through Caboose. They do have forts, but that fort, the fort in Sham is down. It's only a level 2 fort, that's why it fell so quickly. And same with Haleb. They go through those forts quickly, and they are doing so. They're going to properly win this war. Rebels in Tequila. Not enough to really damage them, though. And this isn't looking great for Amaranth. For Amaranth. Looking great for Lurtzland. Right. What has actually happened here? Are Kazil Bronco actually doing a... Kazil Bronco finally go for a war of their own. And they're left with 2 provinces. They're left with 2 Siberian provinces because they came in too late. And then Medvedstrana left with just the 1 province. Bashgrid, or Bashgird, the gold mine over there, still in Perm's hands. If this was the long game and Legendia, who nurtured Malta from the start, and Malta become a grand power, although I will note Abyss running wild, including taking back the war goal, so that's not great. Although if they're losing all their home forts, that doesn't really matter so much. But if Malta do come back and help Legendia do something amazing, then that is potentially the greatest long game I've ever seen in an EU4 game. And it's by 2 AI. For what it's worth, Kazil Bronco are certainly the leading Muslim power, the only great power. The Mudali Calf are getting in there for the first time. The Savage Men are rocketing up the leaderboard. But Epiphany... Ooh. Oh no, they're going to defeat those rebels despite the numbers because they got in reinforcements. That's fine. Because we've seen Tequila nearly collapse before. And hopefully we will again. Vikingar have now taken the rest of Iceland. And now they're sucking up to the Savage Men, and you kind of would, wouldn't you? Because the PRD, the least secure, I think, of the Norse bloc. If there's a weak link in the Norse bloc, it's the PRD. Declare war, notice right, you've got London. You have Switzerland? Oh no, you got Switzerland. And you've got Epiphany, because they're the Holy Roman Emperor. Declare on the PRD. And you've only really got also thrown Savage Men and Vikingar. You've got Mets, I think that is. Who are just... There we go, there's Mets. I really don't like that alliance with Pyrenees there. With Schwarzwald. That's not going to end well. What do Epiphany want in Europe? Well, they don't want Pyrenees yet. Interesting that they want London. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that happen. Because that would mean that Free Scotland get a whole load of their cores back. Jeez, oh. Here's the problem that Caboose have. Caboose can take all these. They can take all these provinces. They're not going to get the capital. Whereas Caboose can be fully occupied here by Malta. What do Malta want? They just want Tirana. They fancy a bit of Crete, but you know, maybe not this time. The Emperor Boethius Savage Man. Savage Man the Great. Forging his way towards Persia, just about. Well, no, I think he literally is just a roundabout route. When does their truce with Caboose end? It is already over. Hopefully we'll see round 2. So it's a very even war, simply because Malta don't have the war goal, but they've conquered enough territory that that doesn't really matter. If you look down there, Haleb is worth 11 war score, Sham is worth 10. I'm not sure how well that will pick up on Twitch, or even if I've got that covered up by my various chat windows. Like, it's always just worth double checking as we go. See if anyone's picked up any new alliances. Any new wars going on. Kizil is sucking up to Georgia. Georgia has attacked Caboose. Here we go. This is what gets Georgia killed by the Savage Men, but it'll be worth it. The Maltese and Georgian armies meet in the middle. That Danube Valley down to 2,000 men in their army. This is ugly. I really panicked there. I thought that was a border between Tequila and Lutsen, but it's not. Lutsen, Australia has come into existence. The colonial nation that nobody wanted. What have you missed? Schwarzwald took a bit more land. Epiphany took a bit more land. The Savage Men have gone Savage Ham. Equestria is back on the map again as a vassal of the Savage Men. And the Savage Men are... They're annexing them already. I didn't realise that much time had passed. But say goodbye to Equestria for potentially the last ever time. Because they are being swallowed into the Savage Empire. The only way they can stop this annexation is by declaring war. They'll have to declare war before 1699. And even if they did declare war, they'd be dead anyway. It's a shame they won't hold on until 1700, so they could be in the next update. So no, you are correct, Solas. Patria have now inherited. They already held the throne of Cordoba, and now they have amalgamated the two empires combined, and now Patria actually getting an income from Sevilla. Which warms my heart. And all these spellings have reverted back to their Christianized spellings. The Patria have the army, and now they have the income to back it up. See, the problem with Equestrian rebels is that they might rise up, and they were able to beat down on all of these guys here. But not only is this the Savage Men who will have armies to spare all over the world, it's right against the PRD, it's right against Osserstrand, and that means that they'll just come down and beat them up, even if the Savage Men couldn't. So there we go, that's an imperialist war. They didn't need to make any claims. But Kizil Bronco just coming in, smashing a Bashkiria and Georgia, unfortunately. So they could actually take a decent amount of stuff from Georgia. Or at least they could if Kumis wasn't taking it all. Georgia need to get out of this war of Caboose quick, get their armies back. Malta now own Tirana. They didn't take much of anything else. Fair dues. Because that was a colonial war. So that's I think that's a war for an overseas province. But every province is overseas for Malta. So they just took Tirana and left it at that. They figured, you know what? Oh, there's something else. Like I said, the Savage Men could go ham. And they absolutely have. They're up against Kizil Bronco and their entire base of allies. That's a war. That's a war in mid-December in Central Asia. And I think the Savage Men have brought everyone they can with them. The Savage Men, Equestria, Osterstrand and the PRD. Everyone's coming along for the ride. The Osterstrand want anything? Osterstrand still don't want anything. They're digging their own grave here. Because what do the Savage Men want? The Savage Men want everything. I imagine Grunhammer's just watching this going, you know what? This is fine. This is fine. Philippe Nasrid. That's the same as Patria, actually. I like that, actually. The Savage Men are just warning them, don't you dare go to war, Grunhammer, or we'll be back. So what ideas do Kizil Bronco have? They at least do have defensive. They need to get out of this war of Bashkiria for a start. And then what? Because they won't have the... they have quantity? They do have quantity, but they don't have full quantity. They have fantastic cavalry. And look at that, actually. Hostile co-creation cost. Which means that they would... It's Equestria. It's Equestria getting the land. And that's perfect. It means Equestria will core the provinces. And the Savage Men don't have to. So it'll be Equestria eating up all these costs. If they stop getting absorbed. I don't think the AI is good enough to stop that. If the AI stops absorbing Equestria, gives all this land to Equestria, lets Equestria pay the admin costs of coring it, then that is an amazing move. that saves a whole lot of money. I think it's generally what they're doing anyway. What kind of war have they declared, actually? It's just another crusade. Georgia perhaps have been massively saved here if they can hold out in this war. If they take a few things from Caboose, hold out against Kizil Bronco and Kumis, and wait for the Norse horse to sweep across. There is a war in Egypt. And Gezira have just gone for it. Gezira are going to try and eat up the rest of Denial Valley. Oh, Tok Maria are in. Tok Maria. God, what are these wars? Oh no, that's Zanzibar. Zanzibar on the map. And they somehow have the exact same flag. Zanzibar is that province there. They have the exact same flag as Kizil Bronco. It is all kicking off. And Caboose going down. Oh no, hold on. What is this? No, Tok Maria have joined in Georgia's war. They've allied with Georgia. And they're coming in from the south. Oh, there's not a fort to be seen. So look at these armies just spreading out. Carpet sieging down Broncos. Meanwhile, there's the Kizil Bronco army. Again, Osistron not building a single fort, but not really caring. If you want to send your army up into deepest Finland, into the marshes and tundra, be our guest. We'll hang out down here in the lovely warm desert. So as you can see, the Norse bloc countries are completely empty. And Epiphany does have imperialism. And Epiphany does have amazing artillery, amazing infantry. They are allied with Patria again. Nice. Is this... Do we have the entire Triple Entente is back? And the entire New Entente, I'm pretty sure, still exists. So we do have essentially a massively united Catholic bloc around Epiphany, who have the means to smash the Norse. They just have to go in on the weakest link. This is what we've been hoping for. The Savage Men have committed to the eastern flank. They're going to get drained by attrition. Although that said, as a wipe of an army there, Kizil Bronco and their hit and run tactics. Oh, you don't want to face them in the desert. They're getting smashed. That's the thing. Kizil Bronco have really good troops when they can field enough of them to make a difference. And that is 2 armies beaten back there by the one main Kizil army. What are Tok Maria up to still? They're kind of splitting their wars up, but that... Saklava. No, that's Saklava over here. How are they at war with them? What are they expecting to do there? Doesn't matter. Back up to the main conflict. I don't think this war is going to last long enough. I don't think it's going to last long enough. Although I suppose if they have to go and siege over the other side of China and Mongolia, then it could last long enough for these guys to take advantage. But yeah, I was going to say, I bet they're not going to do it because... Is that Epiphany against Colombia? Yes, Epiphany against Colombia. Epiphany, they kind of do have bordering provinces, but it doesn't matter. They're just going for an imperialist war anyway. And Scottish Mexico as well, just finishing off around here. Same with Free Scotland. If we zoom in, Do a sweep. Surely not. No, why are these Osterstrand armies exiled? They might have knocked out someone. And that's why they're exiled. I thought for a second that Osterstrand had somehow been knocked out of the war, which would have been phenomenal. Kabusa closing in on Georgia, despite massive war score there. Oh no, here comes the Tokmarian armies all the way up into Anatolia. And Kabusa will be sent running now. You don't want to really be fighting Orthodox rebels there, Kazil Bronco. They're not really your enemy right now. But the Kazil Bronco army that made its way around to Finland took over a few provinces, but it doesn't matter. There's no development there. If you want to do a decapitation strike, you have to go through either Novgorod or Vyborg, take on St. Petersburg, Neva, whatever you want to call it, their capital. And they didn't. And they're losing. Yunlin. One more time. Ninja Karutsu coming for them now. What does Sun Yeosadai even want? Because they've not been at war. Or maybe they have been at war. Let's have a quick look at what they want. Interesting. Ninja Karutsu, no longer a tributary of Sun Yeosadai. A country in its own right. A country in its own right. Who is a rival of Sun Yeosadai, but allied with Gyoya. The split that Yunnan have been looking for, albeit centuries late. Now Valley are holding on reasonably well here, given how ridiculously outnumbered they are. I feel like this would be the time to go in on Switzerland, go in on London. Maybe not London, because look at that laundry list of allies. Go for Switzerland, bring in Nordischreich, kill Nordischreich, while their armies are just sitting there and they don't have any allies. This is the time. It's the time to make a move. Are you just going to sit back and watch the savage men swallow the world? I hope so, actually, because that would at least be very impressive. Up to 44% war score, but I don't suppose that really matters. What has happened to our background music? Thank you. Big old fight. I think Ninja Karutsu, unlike Gyoya, actually have good troops, which is annoying that they're back alive now then. They've got quantity, they're getting defensive, but they have the same kind of horde ideals and horde ideas that Kazil Bronco have, that the Savage Men have. It's horde versus horde, essentially. I think one's done a bit better for themselves than the other. Is that a siege in Arkansas? It is the Tequilan conquest of Hormuz. And it's just tequila going in on Arkansas. The tequila one. That's actually a really good trade province, Hormuz. And it will stop trade leaking. It will stop some trade leaking from Indus, I guess. Not a whole lot. Because they were nearly completely occupied. Rebels spawning up and down. Hello, something happening over here. Nordischreich are going in on a nationalist war on Grunhammer. They've brought in all their allies. Have Switzerland done it again? Oh no, Switzerland are allied with Nordischreich. I would have been very annoyed there if Switzerland had done it again, just coming by themselves. But no, this is a partition of Grünhammer, and all the spoils will go to Nordreich and Switzerland, because it's a nationalist war. That makes it very, very cheap to take. For Nordreich, it'll be all German land. So that is going to be Vienna. Well, I say German land. Austrian, I think, is in the Germanic culture group. There's a way for us to check that. I don't really know how it works, but I think all this is German culture that Nordreich could take in a nationalist war. And it's 50% cost for that. So, you see some of the Norse armies returning from Central Asia. They really don't need to. It's going to be interesting to see how this splits up. You can see the Savage Men desperately trying to get their bit of the land grab in. You can see down to Budapest there. Oh, that is Austrian. It starts Hungarian, obviously. But I think that... Oh dear, I think it's all been converted to Austrian. Typically a good idea. And while we're here, Equestria... Oh no, they have paused it! How have they managed to pause the annexation of Equestria? That's amazing. How have they actually done that? We see provinces going to the Savage Men here. Notably, the PRD not in this war, it's the Nordreich War. The Nordreich Nationalist War. The PRD getting none of this. The PRD have been completely screwed. Can your 30k army actually do anything? No. You can take land. You can see there's not many forts around here. That's why you beelined for it. You can take all this land. It creates war exhaustion for them. But it's effectively not going to change the course of the war whatsoever. I think the Kizil Bronco capital is in Samarkand, is it? Yep. So they're at the fort, the border of the capital, but they've not quite taken it yet. That's why the war score isn't... It's quite disastrous, but it's not 100% yet. The Grünhammer could even completely disappear after this war. 304%, but that's not taking into account absolutism or the nationalism casus belli. Oh, Schwarzwald are taking their opportunity. They're picking their spots, going after Cleves again. You can see again, the Savage Men are going to stop Nordreich taking quite a decent amount of land there that they could otherwise have for themselves. Meanwhile, Kizil Bronco is in Grünhammer, not fighting against London. What's it actually doing? What are you doing? Go on now. They could be using that to go around to one of these forts, I guess. I don't know. But Equestria is still on the map. Oh, it's like literally like 1 month away from being annexed. Are they going to make it to 1700? Will they be in one more update? I think they're going to disappear on January the 1st, 1700. Wait, what? No, I'm an idiot. Fare thee well, Equestria. And all that occupation has disappeared as well. But anyway, the year is 1700. It is January the 1st. That means we make a save game here. We're not quite finished yet. We've still got a good half hour to go. Let me just scroll down to where MK 1700. And nobody will ever know what happened to Equestria. Meanwhile, the age of absolutism is ending. Let us continue on. In fact, let's quickly jump into, say, Epiphany and check where the Enlightenment spawned. Krakow. However you would pronounce it, is in the PRD. But as you can see, you can zoom right out. And this is where it's spreading initially. This is everywhere where there's universities in the world. So not really many universities. In fact, none within Epiphany. Eric Lux, of course, have all the universities ever. Constantinople has one, of course. Tequila been building them up. Gioia has. But the Enlightenment not going to spread that quickly. Right, let's jump back out. Oh, the Grunhammer army just getting rinsed. They ran all the way to northern Germany. And for what? For nothing. The PRD, very enlightened. Oh, no. Oh. But how is it that Nordisreich have declared a nationalist war? And it's all a German nationalist war. Careful. And it's all gone to the Greeks. Like I said, I calls it like I sees it. That is peace in the other war as well. I'm not sure what they really took from Kazil Bronco, but I don't think they took... They took a decent amount. But some of this... Oh no, they certainly took all of that. But yeah, notably, Vienna is now Nordisreich, 44 development. A lot of great buildings there. Even despite the 40% autonomy, making 2.32 ducats a month. Like I said, I called it in the write-up if you didn't read the write-up. I think, while it's 1700, we can quickly pause, look at the scores. The Epiphany and Osterstrahd still at the top. The Savage Men not really making that much in score because they are just constantly at war. But the Savage Men, with so much land and so much development going to be put together, they'll start making up that score. And more to the point, Osterstrahd aren't getting anything. Osterstrahd could have expanded into Midweststrana. The Savage Men took it. The PRD could have gone into Grunhammer. The Savage Men took it. And look at the #1 great power in the world. It's still Epiphany. Thanks chiefly to their colonies. But the most developed nation in the world is now the Savage Men. But keep a lookout for rebels. Particularly any revolutionary rebels. What is... No. I saw an occupation and got excited. The Neroland's hanging on. Oh god, that is... What has happened here? You see Epiphany burrowing their way into Colombia. Neroland kind of filling out Argentina. Are they... Yes, here we go again. Legendia are going all out to kill off Kilimani. Hopefully this time they take the gold. Will they take the gold? I mean, they're taking the entire border, so hopefully they take the gold. Is there any more gold to be found up here? No, it's only Kilwa next, but it's all ivory, which is obviously a very immoral trade good, but a very expensive trade good. There's cloth, there's iron. There is some actually really great provinces around here if you develop them a little bit. I've played a game around here. I've played many games around here. I've played Congo, I've played Kilwa. There's some Denial. We have a quick look back at Denial Valley. It's not great. Oh, it's really not great. Wait, what are Malta trying to take? What actually are Malta trying to take? Rev, I did actually think as I was saying that, slaves are right at the south here in Zimbabwe. But, you know, let's gloss over that. Classic British attitudes glossing over slavery. Yunlin going down and going down to Ninja Kurutsu. Oh, Gyoya are actually at war. Gyoya attacked Gansu. They are winning? Oh no, because that is Gansu land. Okay. Fair dues. Because from here I thought that looked like Gansu were occupying Gyoya. Masses of rebels occupying Caboose. Now see, this is the interesting bit, that the Savage Men now have such a far-flung empire. That's a big 42k stack of Caboose separatists. You see this 30k going down here? That 30k needs to make sure they win the first battle. Otherwise they're in a lot of trouble. Anyway, Malta, they're probably not going to win this war of denial. They're not going to lose it. DSM's overextension. What I'm going to do, because I found out that going into countries can disrupt the AI's routines, so I've been trying to do it less and less. So we can kind of estimate that it's not going to be that much. In fact, we will pause and go in because I am really interested. So first of all, the absolutism is up at 70, which is spectacular. It's very good. Very, very good. So if we then look at this, they are still at 96.5% overextension, which is incredibly impressive. If you consider how much they can take in war and their high absolutism, their admin efficiency, that, you know, part of that is that they gave, and in fact they are actually struggling for administrative power, and they're not coring all their land yet. Let's come out of there. And there was a disaster up there. I imagine it's court and country, so it's not much of a disaster. I'll explain what that is if it ever is relevant. But essentially, they tried to get Equestria to core all this, but they didn't let them core it all before they absorbed them. So they have to core all that, and core all that. But if they can fight off the rebels, all the more power to them. Right, where were we? Just had to duck under my desk that kicked something over. I might have missed something important, like Tequila going to war against Sin Cigar once again. What is that occupation over there? Gansu by Gyoya, of course. Oh, I do note that Bengalistan no longer protected by Samuda, because they're protecting Amaranth instead. Inside of Epiphany. It could have been rebels. Although, the Swiss have gone to war against Schwarzwald. So Switzerland have called in London and Nordischreich. So Everett Lux are at war here. And this is a war. This is a war that could actually make or break the Norse bloc. Because Nordischreich, like we've seen, can take all of this. Chinese Emperor, still the Moldavis. But what we'll see here is that we'll see Eric Lux, I think, demolish armies when they approach anything near a fair fight. But it's not a fair fight. That's kind of the entire point of this war. I think Schwarzwald are pretty much done. Maybe not. I think it notable that all the land they desperately want is the PRD's land. Right back at you, Nordischreich. as I imagine they said in the 18th century. So as we can see, savage men just dealing absolutely fine with all these rebels. Back to China, no wars going on with Yunlin. Jioya continuing to expand. Ninja Karutsu have really consolidated. Sun Ye Sedai have sat back and done nothing. Oh, hello! No. Alright, let's pause. Pause. Sun Ye Sedai. Not allied to Jioya. Far too little. Far too late. Still not interested. And I'll keep checking back to make sure I'm not interested in future. So Legendia, look, this is a healthy chunk of land. Taking all the gold. Keeping their army down there for rebels. Pretty sweet all in all. Patria have done nothing. They've just sat back. And that's annoying me. You could have done a Savage Men there. You could have been a contender, kid. See, look at that, outnumbered. And Eric Lux was actually winning that battle because of their amazing artillery. But then you've got 120k piling in on the other side. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good your artillery are. Well, I'm not going to say that. I imagine if you had, you know, a howitzer or an A10, it would matter how good your artillery was. If you're going to call an A10 artillery. Which you're not, but in EU4 it would be. Again, we've got Grunhammer Separatists way away from any of these armies. But you can see they're not marching the wrong way. I'm assuming somebody's marching the right way. Or who even knows anymore? Let's just watch this depressing end of a nation. You know what? German nationalism has a lot to answer for. I think chief among them, Switzerland. Because it's Switzerland taking all this land. And if Switzerland take all that land, they will finally be a major power. Epiphany do have a decent chunk of their armies at home. They do still want a decent amount of London. Tribute, at this point, it doesn't matter what the claims are. They've got plenty of claims. But it doesn't matter. This is the age of imperialism, the age of nationalism. Go on, Schwarzwald. Go on. Go on, Eric Lux. Get your lads in there. But yeah, it's academic because they've got all the numbers. They've got all the numbers forever. Here's the PRD. The PRD really just going for the scraps. They're not even going to be able to get these provinces over here, but they'll take everything here. And that could put them at odds with the Savage Men, who will want that. If Nordish Reich declared 2 nationalist wars in this session and come out, you know, second best in both of them in the spoils despite being war leader, then what is even the point? Because I was thinking you'd add all this to Nordish Reich. Okay, let's have a look in here. Utter demolition for Eric Lux. And in fact, the reinforcements weren't close enough, so it just stayed an utter demolition. And again, Eric Lux. Winning, winning, winning. The reinforcements come in. Oh, it's a goddamn shame. Oh, add insult to injury, the 8th greatest power, son years to die. Even more rebels. So now's the time to strike at Caboose if anybody fancies it. Well, I mean, any time in the past, like 50 years has been the time to strike at Caboose. Big old truce for Tok Maria. Oh, because Georgia took a big hunk of land. Look at all that. Magnificent. We could have both of Ardis's nations disappear in a single session. What's the time? 20 minutes to go. That Tok Marie going in again? Was it? Must have been. Yet Mombasa is now Tolkien, Tok Marian. Oh, this is why they're not protecting them anymore. And this is what I was saying about imperialism earlier. In that Samud-Ali Khalifate and Bengalistan don't share a border. But Samuda have declared this war, and it's Samuda taking all the Bengalistan land. And that is finally a good move from Samuda. Finally cutting off Tequilan expansion, taking it for themselves. They might finally do something. Although, is that the war already over? Oh, I think they only took like provinces down here. Pathetic. I really wanted to see them go in hard on Bengalistan. That is actually pathetic. Speaking of... Oh, if Switzerland managed to take stuff from Eric Lux, I'm going to be quite sad. Because Eric Lux could have been great. Could have been a contender. And they let it fritter all away. What is this? Why would you not take the last province? What is even the point? Big old battle here. Eric Lux finally put their armies together and won. What Eric Lux need to do is take both their armies, just smash it into London. They're sieging down your level 8 fort. I will note, still amazing fort layout. Look at this. Perfect coverage, apart from Savoy and Wallace. Build a fort in Wallace, easy. Done. That'd even be a mountain, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would be a mountain fort. Build a fort in Wallace. But no, they're busy fighting for a losing cause up here, which is, oh, Pyrenees? Yeah, Pyrenees are in this war as well. Right, Caboose seem to have collapsed to rebels, but... Oh, Gezira coming in. Can we not just pretend that Gezira are Denial Valley? Can we not just, like, switch their places? Because I'd be liking this a whole lot more if that were true. What is this victorious music going on in the background? Look at this. Norderstrike have done so badly, right? That they've hired a Savage Men army, first of all, but Switzerland have all the occupations. Switzerland right now could probably peace out of this war with whatever they want. Probably not whatever they want, because they probably want a decent amount. God, imagine a Switzerland with all that red land. I might have to end the campaign if Switzerland actually got that far. Who is Switzerland still allied with? Then, oh, beautiful. They're now warned by Epiphany and by the Savage Men. I hope it happens. I hope Switzerland go to war and immediately get crushed from both sides. I hope they drag in Nordischreich and London, and Epiphany and the Savage Men just combine to crush them. When is Easter this year? That would be my Easter gift. Now, this campaign will be over way before Easter. Oh, the New Pacific Order. I assume they've attacked. Yep. They want Bengalistan tribute. Which I suppose is fair enough. What's all this Swiss hate? Well, essentially, I don't know where it started, but I didn't mind Switzerland at the start. But they kept screwing over, I think, Eric Lux. I think they screwed over Schwarzwald a few times, like just in really minor ways. But it all added up to the point where I really don't like Switzerland in this game. And now they're even getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and oh no. Oh, who are they against? No, it's Netherlands again. Netherlands, I can't believe you. Well, I can absolutely believe you've done this, but why have you done this, Netherlands? Just leave them to die. We'll finally have nice borders. God damn it, La Mancha. La Mancha's the gold mine, isn't it? Nice. That's a good snag for Patria. Patria, of course, back to being Epiphany's lapdog. Switzerland have pretty much played this properly. And see, here's the Lux armies finally beaten down because they might even turn the... Yeah, they turn that battle around despite being massively outnumbered. That's the pathetic thing. But now they've just got literally no infantry left. It's all artillery. And that doesn't work. Oh god, I'm gonna hit... Oh, I'm gonna hate it when they get parts of Eric Lux. This is terrible. You know what will cheer me up? How are Yunlin doing? Oh. Oh. Why does everyone I love have to leave me? Georgia going in on an imperialist war. How am? Oh, Amaranth. No, Amaranth were always doing that bad. Oh, interesting. We've actually filled in this bit. Truly Australia minor now. Oh, just why wouldn't you just smash London? Just punch London in the face? Instead, I think all artillery armies can work on a technical level. As in, the fire phase comes first. Over here, you've got shock phase, you've got fire phase. And artillery is the fire phase. So if you do enough damage in the fire phase, you'll never get the shock phase of the melee. So technically, you could just do an all-artillery army and wipe guys out in a single swoop. Someone on Reddit claimed to have done that. And they had screenshots, and I still didn't really believe them. Zil Bronco trying to... Oh, a nationalist war against Gansu. Interesting. "13 minutes to go. We're not going to get 1725 for sure. Who are Epiphany actually fighting? So, Piraeus. Still a healthy amount of colonialists around here. Look, could we stop taking the piss out of the way I pronounce words? I can barely pronounce, you know, the actual English language, never mind place names of languages I've never spoken. Frontline artillery certainly at least take double damage. I've never seen if they deal double damage. So actually, I've fought this for a few sessions now, and you might think this is actually ridiculous. But now we've got this bit here. I've always thought that the PRD looked a bit like a gun. So you've got the barrel here, with a little bit of a hold here. That's the stock at the back. That's the sight. And now you've got a big, you know, ammo magazine thing. That's what I've seen when I looked at PRD. What I don't see is a country. So Epiphany, is Pyrenees completely white? Nope, but where is their capital? Oh, that's not a great capital, I'll be honest. How were New Pyrenees not revolting against that one province? I mean, I'll emphasize at this point that I'm not a gun guy. A kangaroo? Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, yeah, especially with that addition, actually. While his country burns, at least the ruler of Erit Lux is educating us about kangaroo rats. To be fair, they might not be dead. This all depends on how much that Nordisch want to give Switzerland. And it kind of depends on Switzerland's absolutism as well. Who is that occupying Caboose? I think it's Georgia and Gezira. No, it's the Savage Men. Hello. The third Savage Crusade against Caboose. Georgia were at war. Oh no, they were at war with Caboose. So here we go again. The Savage Men. Gonna take pretty much the rest of that, I assume. How much land do the Savage Men want? They want it all. Disappointing thing is that this is going to be getting rid of all of Erit Lux's prosperity. Oh, look at the devastation. It's green, green, green. Boom. Boom. Yeah, let's ignore Caboose. Tequila, so hit by rebels that barely any of their land is prosperous, as opposed to take Samudali Kappa, for example. Oh dear, Amaranth. Hope Maria getting back at it. But all of Western Europe enjoying prosperity. Well, not all, but you know, you get the point. Oh no. Right, let's have a quick pause here. The Switzerland only took Velsbrixen. Did they? Or did they get back Wallace, or what? I don't know why, but that looks so much worse. They only took one province. Or did they take these provinces? No, they only took one province from Erit Lux, but it looks horrendous. I hate it. What did they take from oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What did Nordisch take anything? They're not coring any provinces, but did they already have cores there? Nordisch are useless. Why have you built up Switzerland? You deserve to die. Can someone kill Nordisch? What's the weakest link if you were to kill Nordisch? Switzerland, London? Someone kill London. Oh no, that brings in the Savage Men. Well, I guess we're going to kill Switzerland. Did London get one, actually? Did London get Friesland? I mean, they're certainly coring it right now. Yeah, I think London got Friesland. Which I think is the last province in the English Channel. Oh no, it's Ostfriesland. I remember. Good stuff. And now, beset by rebels. Duke Rolf Denny. You still got King Christian Denny over there. What is this purge of heresy? Lettisland coming down for Alaska, beating up the native Canadians. That's what it is. While still at war with California? Oh no, Nederland are just defending that Jaila? So Nederland are defending this one province. Nederland also have the... You know what? I think what we need to do, we need to just look away from America, like China. We need to look away from China, and then just come back once they've sorted everything out sensibly. You know what? If Yunlin had never existed, they were my favourites, but I think I'd be far happier. Has Beijing fallen? It hasn't, but it'll fall next time. Like, we look away from China, and then just next session we'll see Gioia, Sonye Sudai. And then up in Manchuria, Ninja Karutsu. And that'll be fine. We look back at America, and we just see Scotland, Epiphany, Patria, Neroland. That'd be nice. How very nice imperialist. Rebuilding a bit of an army because Colombia again. In the name of Free Scotland this time. I was double checking that they somehow hadn't managed to bring the Savage Men or their other ally. Who's their other ally? London. Just double checking that they weren't in the war. Somehow. So here's the Savage Men really consolidating Anatolia. They've taken it all. And Gezira looking to take the rest. Right. Tokmaria once again allied with Denial Valley. I think far too little, far too late. Unless you're going to drop your alliance with Gezira and help them get the land back, I don't care. So Georgia, I think, might now be bigger than Caboose. Having taken another big chunk of Arkansas. In fact, are they into the fertile farmlands there? Into the farmlands, so you've got not necessarily good development, but you've got a good base to develop provinces there. Which I think is really nice. Really great to paint the landscape. Even now, beaten back, Jihoia are still somehow getting beaten back by Yunlin. Ordos versus Ninja Karutsu. But... hello? Oh, because... have I missed... yes, it's Ordos they've attacked? Yeah, they attacked Ordos, which brought in Yulin and Kazil Bronco together. I'd say interesting, but I don't care. If it's not going to kill off Sonye Sedai, Ninja Karutsu and Gio are alright because they're so incompetent. But if it's not going to kill them off, I don't care. Oh no. No. So it's Damak going for Halmahera. But that involves Tequila demolishing the rest of Australia Minor. And Samud Ali Kafir are in there as well. Just because, why not? Why not? wait. How... I mean, we can see how this happened because Neroland's gone over there. But how is this native tribe occupying southern New Zealand? Ah. We here believe in one united Australia under India. The Gioia in another war? No, they're just against Tunan as well, so no wonder they're potentially losing this war. I would be so pleased if Ninja Karutsu's incompetence led to a Yunlin resurgence. But I think we will have to wait until next session to see if that actually happens. Schwarzwald desperately trying to appeal to the Savage Men. Grunhammer, Vikingar, they're not going to save you. In fact, they're only going to drag you down. In fact, that's going to drag Vikingar down. They should just stay with their PRD alliance. Won by London, interesting. Can we make it to 1725? No. I stream like 9 till 11 o'clock, and then past 11, I still live at home with various people who like to sleep and get up in mornings. My job actually sees me get home at about 11 o'clock at night. But allegedly, some people have university, which I think is a preposterous bourgeois concept. The New Pacific Order we just saw there, grabbing a little bit more land from Bengalistan, and they didn't take them as a tributary. I mean, fair dues, I guess. Arkansas, I've seen better days. Caboose separatists running wild. Oh, I was just looking at that and didn't realise that Gezira have taken a huge chunk there. You know what? I hope those separatists do you in, Gezira. I hope they wreck ya. I don't think Osastron have declared a single war of their own. And indeed, who would they declare it on? Well, like I said, they've got imperialism now. They could declare war on anyone in the world. Yet they haven't. Do the Savage Men want to continue on to Siberia? Of course they do. What do the Savage Men want? Everything. The Neroland just about surviving, as it stands. As we wrap up this session, going to end it on January the 1st, well, January the 2nd probably. 1710. And it's gone pretty much like I predicted, to blow my own horn. I warned everyone, I warned you all, the Savage Men were going to go ham, and they did. But alright, that's the end of this session. I've not been told to chuck it in just yet. So if anyone has any questions, anything they'd like to look at, and especially if anybody wants to go and look at absolutism or overextension or anything that you have to go into countries to look at, now's the time because we've saved and it's not going to interrupt any AI routines. Look at any new ideas for nations. Also shown we're doing quite well on that. The Savage Men now up to maximum absolutism, but they're now undergoing a disaster called courting country. And this can actually be a very good disaster to get. Because it does all this. It means you're making a lot less money, it takes away your absolutism. But in the future, it can increase your max absolutism. Which is very good. And you can kind of see... Oh no, you can't. That's the conditions for it ending. But the conditions for it starting are... like a little bit of rebellions and a lot of absolutism. So, Savage versus Stroned. We'll have a quick look at the armies. Epiphany is really running away with the score, actually. Yeah, first, second, and everything, they're just demolishing. I'm not sure anyone can catch Epiphany at this rate. But anyway, we're here to look at army force limit sizes. So also, whoa, you can kind of see the difference between army size. They've got the exact same sized army, but the Savage Men now have the greatest force limit in the world. They just don't have the manpower to fill it out currently. But then who does? Nordish Reich with 78 mercenaries, over half their army. Do any of our main warriors, our main player countries, have professionalism? Castillo Bronco a little bit. Bermuda, Patria, that's good to see. London Ideas. They have gone full exploration, full trade, and then defensive and offensive ideas. A pretty good combo. In fact, we're looking at it from inside the Savage Men, so let's not do that. An overview of colonial nations in general. I thought about doing that, but I've really struggled to keep track myself. Let's have a quick going over at the moment. Patria have never taken exploration ideas. They could only see Brazil, so they colonized Brazil. Oh, are they actually at war, finally? It took them so long, but they are finally going on Ouagadougou. Cool. What is their absolutism like? Very high, I like that. They got Patria in Brazil. You've got Scotland taking over Colombia. Scotland already have Mexico. They already have the 13 colonies, as it were. Massive Epiphany Canada there. Florida, or Florida, is Epiphanies as well, but they obviously ran out of space to expand. Cut off by New Pyrenees here. I'll quickly point out the colonial zones. It's not just all America. You've got Eastern America, then you've got Louisiana. That line just to the west of Tennessee, Ohio. Yeah, I know my American states. That's probably Kentucky, actually, isn't it? Yeah, probably. The very second after I boast, I realise I've got it wrong. So that's into like Scottish Louisiana, but it's very tiny. But somehow you've got Epiphany Canada in here. It's all a big mess, and this is why I'm not really looking at doing it. California look big, but let me show you. That's all wasteland. The vast majority of the country is wasteland. Much like real California, as I'm reliably told. Nah, jokes. Top banter. And there's no real development here apart from in Alta California in San Francisco. Down here you've got a mix of Neroland rebellions. But Neroland has somehow kept a hold of their colonies. Then here, of course, you've also... Oh, no. I suppose these are kind of the Australian colours, green and yellow. So at least it's the right colour, I guess. But Australia Minor had what we must call a minor resurgence and crushed underfoot by the Golden Surge. Joya cutting Yunnan to pieces. That war's going just about evenly, though. Was there anyone else? Anyone else looking for stuff? Not really. The next time in ongoing wars, we have Patria just going to town on Ouagadougou. We've had some major wars in here. Well, not really major shifts. But this is what we knew might happen. The Savage Men went ham. Nordisch Reich went for 2 nationalist wars. The PRD snuck in there. Österstrand, as we kind of surmised, they've run out of spaces to expand. So they didn't expand. They just sat there. They might still have the largest income in the world. Although I imagine Epiphany getting up there. Oh, Jesus Christ. They are making a hell of a lot of money. But they're doing nothing with it. Deep reserves here, but useless reserves. Anyone nearly collapsing? Arkansas, Caboose. The Savage Men down at 0 stability. Dangerous. We could see a Savage Men collapse. Potentially. And then if we jump into any country, it should show us... No, we can't see the end of age thing now. But the age of revolutions is nearly here upon us. Will we see a revolution within one of these countries? Yeah, there's always Siberia. What have Ninja Karutsu done up here? Jesus Christ. They have actually developed Siberia. The absolute madmen. They've developed Siberia and just left a gaping hole there. Just to annoy me. So in any case, we have 110 years left in this campaign. Next session... How long did that go for? 25, 35 years? What I might do next time, if people are around to watch it, is I might start at 8:30 and try to make sure we get all... Now, I might start at 8 o'clock, an hour earlier next week, and try and force our way through to 1750. But I'll keep you up to date with that. I'll spam everyone on the day and a few days before, like I usually do. In any case, who's the people controller? As if that matters at all nowadays anyway. That's why I've stopped updating you all on it, because it really doesn't matter. So thank you all very much for watching. It's been fun. It's been a bit less eventful than the last time out, but nevertheless, been interesting. And I want to see where this goes, even if everyone else deserts me. In any case, you haven't deserted me. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next week, hour earlier. See you then. Let's do that classic pan.